What is going on, everybody? You got Matty BROLLIC here, back today for a really awesome Wi-Fi battle that I had with my friend Anthony. Now, he goes by the name of Tone on Skype. I'm not sure what his Smogon alt is or anything like that, but he is a very well-versed OU player, and he plays in draft leagues as well. And I heard that he was into Wi-Fi battling, so I asked some people if they wanted a Wi-Fi battle, and he stepped up to the challenge. As my main Smogon tier is just pretty much OU. That's really the only tier I enjoy playing. But I don't know, I just really have not enjoyed lives or things like that in a while. But Wi-Fi battles, I always love Wi-Fi battles. They're really fun to watch, they're really fun to play, and I actually enjoy breeding and doing all those things as well. So I bred a bunch of teams, I think about 7 or 8 competitive teams fairly recently, and I really wanted to get a chance to use them. And just a little spoiler, tonight we are getting some awesome Sun and Moon leaks with the new demo coming out, and it is just making me so excited for Wi-Fi battles in Gen 7. So I will be uploading you guys some Wi-Fi battles for the remainder of Gen 6, because I do really enjoy Gen 6 OU, especially on Wi-Fi where the teams are more offensive. And then Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battles are going to be absolutely insane. So much fun, many new things going on, and new Pokemon to try out. So here we have a pretty cool team. It's one of my absolute favorite teams to use. I call it Zoroark because it's a hyper offensive team that is built around Zoroark and Mega Scizor. Zoroark is one of my favorite Pokemon, and it's a difficult Pokemon to use because its ability Illusion can definitely work in your favor, but at the same time it can definitely backfire. It can not really make sense in a lot of different ways, but if you pair it with a Pokemon that really can benefit from the Illusion ability, such as Mega Scizor, this team can put in a ton of work. So this team's a lot of fun because we have a nice Sash SD Stealth Rock Garchomp. I usually run Lumberry if I'm playing on Smogon, just with all the stall teams. It's a pretty nice lead against Mega Sableye, but on Wi-Fi usually you can get away with going Sash, as it's overall a better item for Garchomp, as it can more reliably set up Stealth Rocks. Then I have an SD Sash Zoroark. I have a Scarf Gardevoir. Yes, that is a normal Gardevoir. People are probably going to think, oh, Matt, what are you, a noob using regular Gardevoir in OU? And I think normal Gardevoir, especially Scarfed, is one of the most underappreciated Pokemon in OU. It really has a lot of nice niches. And then I have a standard Life Orb 3 attacks Thundurus with Thunder Wave, offensive Starmie with Rapid Spin, and then an SD offensive Mega Scizor with 3 attacks. So he's got a pretty cool team here. Some really big threats in Bisharp, potentially Landorus T, Serperior, even Mega Metagross could be a really big threat. So we will get right into this awesome battle, as I probably should have clicked it a little bit earlier, but I think it should be going into the battle pretty quickly. So here we go. How do we get this thing out of here? I don't... Oh, view full screen? Does that do it? No, I guess not. So I lead with my Garchomp, as he leads with his Landorus. So I'm going to go right for my Stealth Rocks, as I'm figuring this thing may want to go for Rocks too, but he does not have hazard removal, so I wanted to get them up right away, and I knew there was no way he could really stop me. So I get up my Rocks, as he actually goes right for an Earthquake. So this at least lets me know he's not Choice Scarfed, but it also lets me gauge the damage, and I know that I'm not in range of a 2-hit KO. So I go for Swords Dance here. Reason being, if I go up to +2 and he switches out into I don't know, anything else really, Garchomp should be able to take a hit from anything else from this range and outspeed everything except for the Serperior. So getting up to +1 attack and him not having any fairies for me to just click something like Outrage would definitely be pretty good. But what I figured is that here he'd probably go for his own Rocks, and I can go for an SD, and then I can get some pretty solid damage off with Outrage. Because if I go for 2 Outrages, or say I go for 1 Outrage right off the bat, and I take Rocky Helmet damage, and he does Earthquake, I will go down to that. So I figured I'd go for Swords Dance, and then I can get some better damage, as well as, you know, if he goes for Stealth Rocks, or even if he goes for Earthquake, I'll be able to get way more damage than if I just went for 1 Outrage. So here, I go for the SD, but he actually reveals a really nice tech in the Hidden Power Ice. Now, Hidden Power Ice Landorus isn't something that's a crazy uncommon, but Judging by that earthquake damage, I figured, it was like a bulky defensive Landorus, and he didn't go for it right off the bat, so he lulled me into a false sense of security, which is a really good play on his part, as now I got no damage off on this Landorus, and my Garchomp, which actually was pretty useful, is already down. So here I go into my Spinjutzu, my Starmie, and I am an offensive Starmie, and he happens to be pretty weak to this, as his water resists are Dragalge and Superior, which get crushed by Ice Beam. And then the rest of his team, as well as Manaphy, which I don't have Thunderbolt, but I have Psychic, which will hit that very hard as well. So here I could just click Hydro Pump, as he expects me to make the safe play and just go for Ice Beam, because he really doesn't have very good switches to that, but he goes right into his Mega Metagross, and, well, it's normal Metagross right now, and because it's normal Metagross, this Analytic Life Orb Hydro Pump is able to one-hit KO this thing after Stealth Rock, so that is awesome. A big threat right out of the way, and Starmie putting in that work. So here, he ends up going right into his Superior. Now, this thing is a very big threat to my squad, and although Starmie has a really nice matchup against his team, because outside of Bisharp, I can just fire off hits on like pretty much everything, as I outspeed everything, unless one of his Pokemon is Scarfed. So, yeah, Starmie is pretty useful, but the thing is I have no switches to this Superior at all whatsoever. An alternative play that I could have made here, instead of just staying in an Ice Beaming, was going into my Scizor and trying to just get off a little bit of damage before it goes down, because Starmie is probably more useful than Scizor all around. But then Zoroark would lose its element of surprise, and Zoroark could actually put in a lot more work than Scizor can this match, but it kind of needs Scizor to be around, because disguising itself as Scizor is what helps Zoroark set up on things in the first place. So that's one of the reasons I just decided to Ice Beam, because it actually is a roll for me to be able to kill him here. So I go right for the Ice Beam, as I just barely miss out on that roll, as you're going to see. He goes down to, I don't know what, like one, maybe like, he's got to be at least 1%, or I mean no more than like 1 or 2%. So here he goes right for the Leaf Storm, and he does connect. I go right down as he gets the special attack boost. So here I have to go into my Zoroark. Reason being is that Mega Scizor loses momentum worse against his team than if I go into Zoroark and just click Sucker Punch here. So I go for the Sucker Punch. He can't switch out because he has no hazard removal. So unless he's got something like Synthesis, then he doesn't really have much of a play. So here I just knock him out with the Sucker Punch, as now he goes into Landorus. So I can go into my Mega Scizor here. I'm kind of expecting him to go for something like Rocks now that I lost my Starmie. But this Landorus could just click Earthquake or even Stone Edge and just do a lot of damage to my team, because my team is very frail. So I go into my Scizor, and this actually takes a ton from Earthquake. And this is not an offensive Landorus, as you're going to see in a second. I go for the Mega Evolution. I just want to get a little bit of damage on this thing, as Bullet Punch is my way to hit this the hardest, and in case he's running some speed, this will help me outspeed it. So I go for the Bullet Punch, and he turns out to be a standard Rocky Helmet set, and he does take a pretty good chunk from that, because I am adamant max attack, and I have not been intimidated, but he is able to 2-hit KO me right there. So now I can go right into my Thundurus, and he's in a little bit of a tricky spot, because if he goes into something like Bisharp, and I predict him to switch out and go right for a Thunderbolt, Bisharp could die to Life Orb Thunderbolt after Stealth Rocks, which is insane. I think it does die to Life Orb Thunderbolt after Stealth Rocks, at least without any bulk. And he has a Dragalge, which has an outside chance to live Hidden Power Ice after Stealth Rocks, two Hidden Power Ices rather. So I figured that would be his best play. So I'm just going to go right for the HP Ice and hope that I get high enough rolls to knock him out. The rolls are heavily in my favor, but if I get 2 really low rolls, then he could possibly live this. So it turns out, first one, what do you know, really low roll. Now, there's still a very high chance for me to KO him here, but it is not nearly guaranteed like it would have been had I got a decent roll. So here I go for another Hidden Power, as it's my only play. I have no switches to this thing, and I actually get a crit. So if I was going to get a low roll there, it mattered, but if I just got like a medium roll there, I would have been fine. And I did get a low roll in the last turn, so It's not like it was incredibly hacksy, but that could have been unfortunate for him. So here he goes into Bisharp. If this thing is adamant, or even if it's Jolly, because I used 2 Life Orb hits, it could knock me out with Sucker Punch. But if it's holding another item, then unless it's like Adamant Dreadplate, then it will not be able to knock me out with Sucker Punch from here. But regardless, I don't have a reason to keep this in because it is kind of my win con. It's my best way to beat Manaphy, and it also could revenge Landorus at any time. So I go right out into Zoroark as he needs to kill my Thundurus. So I figure he's going to go for Sucker Punch or Swords Dance if he really wants to make a bold prediction. But I didn't think he would go for Knockoff. And even if he did, or I didn't think he would go for Iron Head rather, because if he did and I stayed him with Thundurus, then he just dies. And if he went for Knockoff, Zoroark would be okay because, you know, I could avoid a 2 KO there. So here, he goes into his Landorus, and I just have to click low kick. And the reason this low kick damage is kind of important, even though it's going to do nothing to a Landorus, is because after these Stealth Rocks, just a few more percent, even if it's just like 2 or 3 more percent damage, will put this Landorus in a guaranteed range of Scarf Gardevoir's Moonblast, because it does like minimum 47 point something. And he's going to come in right around 50% after these Stealth Rocks, as you're going to see. So he just barely goes right into the yellow amount of HP, as I get maybe like 5% off on him with a low kick right here. So this is going to put him in guaranteed range from Gardevoir, like I said. So now I can go into my Gardevoir, as Trace will allow me to intimidate this Landorus to make sure that this thing cannot knock me out with any move. And then from there I can proceed to fire off a Moonblast, as it should be able to knock out anything that wants to come in, except for, oh well, not Manaphy, but Manaphy will take a very, very large chunk, especially if it's offensive. So he connects his Stone Edge there, but it does not knock me out, as here I'm able to just go right for the Moonblast and knock him out clean. So here he goes into his Bisharp, and my best possible play here is to just stay in and go for Moonblast, because if he tries to go for Swords Dance, or if he tries to just go right for Iron Head, predicting my Bisharp, and not my Bisharp, my Zoroark, and I end up switching out into Zoroark, then I could lose the game, because I am in range of a Sucker Punch here from Bisharp, depending on the set. I think if it's Jolly without any type of boosting item, I may be able to live, but any other Bisharp, I pretty much just go down. And Thundurus, he can probably do enough damage to the point where that Life Orb hit after that may knock me out. If he doesn't have a boosting item, my own Life Orb may knock me out, which means that I don't have Thundurus for Manaphy, and Manaphy could beat my Zoroark one-on-one. So I need to just stay in here and click Moonblast, because it'll do a ton of damage to the point where it will be in a Zoroark Sucker Punch range. And from there, I should be able to win the match with the combination of Zoroark and Thundurus against the Manaphy. So here, I go right for the Moonblast, as if he did Sucker Punch here, my next play probably would have just been to go right into my Zoroark again, because I just low kick, and then, his Manaphy wouldn't take much, but I could just go right into my Thundurus from there and click Thunderbolt and just get a guaranteed kill and preserve Zoroark, or I could afford to even, yeah, that's what I would do. So here I go into my Zoroark, actually, and the thing is, Zoroark took around the same amount of damage as Thundurus, so he could be thinking that this is Thundurus here, and that he wants to go for something like, that I may just try to knock him out with something like Thunderbolt. I'm sure he probably knows it's Zoroark, but it is disguised pretty well, because my Thundurus took 20% from the 2 Life Orb hits, and my Zoroark took 16.25% from the Rocky Helmet. So it could be kind of hard to distinguish the two. So here, he probably just had to attack, because if I was Thundurus going to go for Thunder Wave, he just kind of needs to go for something like Knockoff or Iron Head to knock me out, as he is at +2 from the Defiant drop with Moonblast. But regardless, I am able to just Sucker Punch, because if he did want to go for Swords Dance or something that was a non-attacking move, predicting me to be Zoroark and Sucker Punch, he literally needs to win 8 50-50s, because the second he loses the 50-50, he goes down and I win the game. So we do just Sucker Punch him and knock him out. And the trickery of Zoroark does come into play a little bit there, as now he goes into Manaphy. So if this thing is a Calm Mind bulky Manaphy, then I could sort of be in a little bit of trouble. So if I go right into Thunderous on a Combine bulky Manaphy, and he just goes right for the Combine, and now I really don't think I was in a lot of trouble. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I wasn't in trouble, but regardless, I don't want to switch in my Thunderous directly, because if he's offensive Manaphy, he goes right for Ice Beam. I don't think it's an OHKO on Thunderous from 80%, but I'm sure with either a really high roll or a crit that he would be able to knock me out. So there's no reason for me to risk Thunderous here. And even if he is a bulky Combine Manaphy that can set up on a Zoroark, what I could do is go right for a Swords Dance here, because a +2 knockoff will do like at least 50. So from 50%, even if he sets up a Combine, I could go right into Thunderous, as if he goes for Rain Dance the next turn, he will not be able to live a Thunderbolt from around 50%, even at +1. So that's why here my play is to just go right for Swords Dance, because if I go for Swords Dance and he attacks and just goes to knock me out, Thunderous just comes in and OHKOs the Manaphy, and if he does go to set up, all I have to do is Swords Dance here, click knockoff, and then go right into my Thunderous, because even a +1 Scald will not be able to knock me out. So here I go right for the SD as he goes for the Scald. And it actually does a ton of damage. I believe it almost OHKOs me as yeah, it does. It really almost OHKOs me, just a neutral Scald. So I know it's offensive, as now I can go right for the knockoff. I have a very, very slight chance to knock him out. I need a max roll if I want to knock him out from here, so that would give Zoroark another kill. But I just barely miss out on that. No, actually, not just barely. He lives it pretty decently, as here he just finishes me off with the Scald, as I could go into Thunderous and just click Thunderbolt for the win, as there's no reason for me to make it fun and go for Hidden Power Ice, because I honestly don't know if that would kill from here. So I go for the Thunderbolt and knock out this Manaphy, and we pick up the very narrow 1-0 victory. So that was a hell of a game, a lot of fun. Tone was an excellent player, and I was really impressed with how well, because we spoke about the game afterwards, and I was really impressed by how well he identified the I'm just gonna go here so you can kind of see the the ending screen. There we go. I was really impressed with how well he identified my game plan with having a Zoroark that is designed to weaken Scissor's checks, because the whole game plan around this team is having Zoroark come in on certain things that Scizor could force out, get up an SD or something like that, and force in things like Heatran, Talonflame, Rotom Wash, Mega Manectric, all things that Scizor struggles with, and do a ton of damage with things like Knockoff and Low Kick, to the point where Mega Scizor has a much easier time sweeping, because a lot of teams just tend to carry like 1 or 2 Mega Scizor checks. So if I could take one out, or weaken one, or possibly take their only check out, then Mega Scizor usually has a pretty decent time setting up and sweeping, because it's just so bulky even without investment, and so powerful with base 150 attack, Adamant Nature, and a 90 base power priority move, a +2. So it really is a huge threat, and these two complement each other amazingly. And the rest of the team really just give me ways to play around most different types of teams. This team could struggle with really fat stall teams, but with a Lumberry Garchomp and things like Trick on Gardevoir instead of Healing Wish, you can play around certain stall matchups pretty well. But overall, this team is definitely really good against offense, and it definitely just kind of went to show in this match that even when the Mega Scizor doesn't have a good matchup, as it clearly does not, being that he has a Manaphy, Serperior, a bulky Rocky Helmet Landorus, and I don't have Recovery with Roost, the team could still put in a lot of work, as the rest of the members complement Scizor and Zoroark quite nicely. And Zoroark, just being a Pokemon that just kind of tricks and fakes people out in general, can still put in the work, as Zoroark had a pretty nice matchup, as his only Dark Resist was Bisharp, which gets destroyed by Low Kick. So preserving the Zoroark allowed me to handle the Bisharp and do some pretty good damage all around, as it was able to knock out the Serperior, knock out the Bisharp, and then almost even knock out the Manaphy while doing a ton of damage to it. So really, really love that Pokemon, and I was glad that I was able to showcase it pretty well against a really solid player in Anthony. And yeah, shout outs to Anthony again for the battle. If he has a YouTube link, I'm not sure if he has a YouTube link because I haven't seen his channel. If he does, and if he does, I'll put it in the description. But I hope you guys enjoyed my first Wi-Fi battle on the TTM channel. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and if you want me to continue uploading these. I mean, I definitely plan to. I had a lot of fun here, and I'm really, really excited about the Wi-Fi scene for Sun and Moon because everybody's going to be playing Wi-Fi when it first comes out, and that is going to be a lot of fun. The graphics are going to be incredibly nice to look at, and there's going to be so many new Pokemon with tons of innovation that you're going to see from me, because that's all I really like to do when I play Pokemon. So that being said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely let me know what you guys thought in the comments once again, and most importantly, have yourselves a fantastic day, as I will see you in the next one. Later.